everybody, Josh here. Wow, that was weird. A great way to start a video. Back with another video today, once more in P3D, obviously. We are on the ground at Manchester today. It's UK 2000s Manchester, on a rather murky day, it would seem, which is not nice. We're on stand 1. This is the PMDG 737-800. And we're going to take a flight down to a place I've actually wanted to fly in to for ages and haven't. Last time I flew into the destination we're going was probably sometime in May when I first got my PC. But I've got scenery for it now. I've got Aerosoft's Balearic Islands, which you could probably guess it's going to be one of a number of destinations already when I say that. We are going to a destination that was actually requested. This flight was requested by a friend of mine, so thanks to him for giving me the idea to do this flight. So this is Shanx or Jet2 or whatever, flight 953 from Manchester, and we're going down to Palma De Mallorca, Lima Echo Papa Alpha, down in the Balearic Islands. I think that's how you say it. I don't know. In the 737-800, one of a number of 737s that Jet2 obviously have. If you're not familiar with Jet2, they are one of these low-cost carrier airlines. They're one of the more cheesy ones. I mean, obviously Ryanair, you know, are just bad, but Jet2 are like, they're cheesy and they're like great flights and you know, friendly low fares is their slogan. However, that being said, Jet2 are quite possibly my most favourite sort of low-cost carrier out of Ryanair and EasyJet, and then you've got Jet2 and whoever. I think Jet2 are probably my favourite, to be perfectly honest. So, yeah. We're just loading up some food for the flight, which they appear to be done. This is Golf... Standby. Golf Delta Foxtrot Romeo. One of the 737s is Jet2 Rome, apparently. However, we are not going there today. It's repaints on AvSim, in case you're wondering. This it's not on the PMDG Operations Centre. So, just search Jet2 PMDG or something. It should take you to this somewhere on AvSim. Anyway, let's hop over into the flight deck and let's get this party started. Alright, in the flight deck, as usual, you know, 737, it's nothing out of the ordinary. You've seen it all before. The first thing I'm going to do is close these right-hand doors and just get rid of that lower ICAS for a minute. We are in a state where essentially nothing is done, apart from I've loaded the fuel and just set our zero fuel weight as well. Other than that, everything else is off. So let's head over to the overhead panel first of all. We can see we're on external power at the moment. And we're just going to head up to here and align the IRSs. And once they flick to align, we will whack on the yaw damper like so. Coming down here, they should be off for a minute. I don't know why they're on. So they can stay as they are. I almost am tempted to fire up the APU, but I'm not going to yet. What I am going to do is request boarding once the catering completes. So we'll leave the APU off for a minute. Electrics can all stay as they are. That's all good. The emergency exit lights can come on. The seatbelt and the chime can come on as we have finished refueling. Oh, window heats can come on. Pitos can stay off. Hydraulics can stay as they are. Packs can come on. Isolation valve auto. APU bleeds and engine bleeds can stay on. And we can set our pressurization panel to 350, which is what we'll be cruising at today. Also just going to turn the volume up a little bit. There we go. Easy. So, what we'll do, we'll come down to the FMS, or FMC, and we'll whack that in straight away. Pause in it. Echo Golf Charlie Charlie, which is Manchester, which is where we're at. We're on stand 1, which is actually taken for once. And then we can whack in the IRS position there. We can get rid of that. Company route, Manchester to Palma de Mallorca. 23 right is apparently the departing runway today. No ATC as far as I'm aware, so we can just do what we want really. And as I said at the start of the video, Shanx953 is our call sign. Depart 23 right, we are on the Samba 1 Romeo, and then we can just activate and execute all of that. Perf, the 0 fuel weight can just double click straight in there. Reserves, we have, what's that, 1.7, 2.7, 2.8 in our reserves today, and a cost index of whatever the hell you like. I'm going to use 36. I have no idea what Jet 2 actually was. I forgot to research that before I did this video. As I said, 350 is our cruise, and it wants me to open a door that's already open. Okay. Good old GSX. So that is there. The cruise wind, you'll have to excuse the sound of the actual plane. It's going to go off for a second just while I have a look at the briefing on Active Sky. According to Active Sky, at our top of climb, when I can find it amongst all of this, there's Sam, top of climb, it's 234.73, so a hell of a wind today up there. And the outside air temperature, according once more to Active Sky, is minus 50. So that can go in there. It gives us an ISO of 4, and 6,000 feet is the transition at Manchester. And that can all stay as it is. So we can execute that. In terms of our D-rates, we are D-rating to 22k, and we have a selected temperature of 69 degrees today. Climb 1 gives us 85.3 on the M1. Flaps 5. CG can go straight in. We'll go to page 2, and we can check out the current wind, which is 250 degrees at 7 knots. Can go in there. See, the runway slope is not modelled, so we can put that to 0. Acceleration 3000, and our engine out acceleration will be 1500. Obviously, the runway is dry at the moment. So V speeds can go in there, 144, 147, and 148, which is what we need to whack up on the MCP. So 148 there. 232 for the runway heading is what it is. And then 5,000 feet, I believe, is the initial climb on the Samba departure, so we can whack that in there as well. Left flight director, as I am the master, and then right flight director secondary, LNAV, VNAV, and the job is a good. Over here we can set our VOR needles, data and traffic. We'll bring that in a little bit just for the departure. Obviously weather will go on that side when we are in a position to do that. On the second side, VOR needles, data, terrain, traffic as well. We'll bring that in as well. And the auto brake can go to RTO. We can also come over to the barrows and set our QNH in hectopascals, which is 1011, and we'll just change the standby as well. We'll come over to the radio stacks here. As I said, no ATC out of Manchester or en route for the minute today, so 122.8 and 2000 on the transponder. You can test that as well if you like. And that is how you get a 737 ready in approximately 5 minutes. Which appears to have worked. The TCAS is all okay as well. So we'll have a look out here. They're just starting their boarding now, so we can fire up the APU. So left forward fuel pump, and the fuel pump can go on like so. Easy. Easy. I don't think there, for the minute, is much else to do until the boarding is complete. So we can just bring up the lower ICAS there and get ready to go. I suppose what we can do is start closing our main doors. And we can also just wait for that APU to come on, and then we can start disconnecting all the ground stuff. So you can see we're just waiting for our EGT to come down there. Should level out about 400, and then the APU should come online. Which it has, perfect. So we can take the APU power now, which means we can actually now start to disconnect things. So ground connections, we'll just verify the parking brake is set, which it now is. And we can disconnect the ground power, disconnect the air conditioning, disconnect or remove, sorry, the pitot covers. And we'll leave that on there. We'll just leave the wheel chocks connected for the minute whilst the baggage crew outside load us up. And there is a Norwegian taxiing in. as well. Good old FLAI not actually doing its job with a world travel. There's an EasyJet on the ground as well. Perfect. Well, it looks like they're now just about done. He's driving off. Perfect. And the boarding is now complete, so we can actually now remove the wheel chocks. It gets rid of all of that, and we can close the remaining doors, which is just the cargo ones. As you can see up here, all the lights on the doors have now extinguished, and we can get some pushback as well. So we're going nose to the left. I don't know why it gives an option to the right, because that would send you into the terminal building. Not really sure what that's all about. The tow truck's coming in now. So we can just put that on something like the takeoff page, which is now in there. We'll just verify everything is good to go. So the fuel pumps can all now come on. The beacon or anti-collision light can also come on. And that is going to be okay until we're actually ready to start pushing back, which we will be in a moment once GSX gives us the all clear. Nice engine view there. Hey, release the parking brakes. Okay, now, the way that you actually properly start a 737, because I was reading into this the other day, is you whack off the packs, you put the engine starter to ground, which I'm sure you all know how to do. You can see everything starts to come on now, so we're... once we get to 1, we have now N2 watching the N1, and at 1%, we now have N1 online. And we're watching for 25% or 2.5%, yeah, 25% N1, which we have achieved. So the fuel can now come in there, and that will ignite. See here the little red notch on the EGT. Okay, now this is probably easy to show you in a second, but when the starter cuts out, people assume that the engine is now stable and you can whack the other one on. Not quite so. The engine is not actually stable until this red marker has actually disappeared. So I'll actually stay in here for this engine start, and then we'll do something else when we fire up number 1. So the starter's out, but the engine is not stable until that red light is out. And now the red light, or the red marker, has gone out on the EGT, we can now spool up the other engine as well. At 20 mile speed limit, that's pretty good. So parking brakes can come on. 2.5 is achieved. And why do I have 1 FPS? Perfect. I actually forgot to start the clock on that side, so we'll do that now. Whatever. Perfect. So that is very almost 2 good starts. We'll just wait for the thing to go out, which it has. And as the tow truck disconnects, our hydraulics can come on, P2 heats can come on. We can take the main generators, and the APU can come off. APU bleed off, switch that to generator 1. And then we can actually do the following. So flaps 1, flaps 2, flaps 5 come down here, and 5.37 units of trim. That will do us about there. So ignition switches, I've just turned that wrong one on. So ignition switches to continuous. Taxi and turn off lights can come on. and we can just check the recall quickly, which nothing has come up. So over to the status page quickly, we'll do a quick flight control check. So we're full left, full right, full up, full down, and we'll take the rudders full left and full to the right as well. So that's all our taxi stuff done. Runway 23 right is just ahead of us actually, so let's release the parking brake, a little bit of power in. Let's get some charts up here as well, just so I can actually give you a insight. So we're on Juliet Echo at the moment. We're going to take Juliet Echo right to the very end. And then from Juliet Echo, we're going to take the second left onto Juliet. And then we just follow Juliet all the way down to holding point Juliet 1 for runway 23 right. Like so. So, AccuSim, A2A's a very popular AccuSim. I'm sure if you fly any of A2A's products, then you'll know what AccuSim is, or what it does anyway. And if you follow FS Elite, then you'll probably know what it is as well. Or if you watch some of their stuff on FS Elite, then you'll probably know what it is as well. But version 2 of AccuSim released for version 4 of P3D this week. Or say this week, it released last night actually. For P3D version 4. I'm not entirely sold on it. I'm worried with A2A. I have actually been worried with A2A for quite a while actually, because their stuff, or no, actually I was about to say their products then, but their products aren't, but their like background stuff and their actual marketing side of things is starting to show its age a little bit. I mean, the actual products like the 172 and whatnot are absolutely phenomenal. I love flying them, but their actual like marketing and their website and whatnot was starting to show its age, and I've been a little bit worried with A2A about that for quite a while now. And this new version 2 of AccuSim has worsened or dramatically worsened those worries. Their website was obviously getting a little bit old, but they've thankfully pulled that out of the dark, and they actually have a decent website now. However, I thought that their actual marketing of the new version 2 of AccuSim was pretty poor, considering they're using their old FSX showcase videos. Which, when you're releasing something new and for a completely different platform, it's not something I personally would have recommended at any point throughout the day. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. I will not be picking up the new AccuSim. My concern is that what it's doing is just gonna, although they've said it's tested with over 40 different, popular add-on third-party aircraft, my worry is it's going to screw around with a lot of custom flight models like the FS Labs and PMDGs and things like that. And also, if you're a bit of a noob and you don't know how to turn some of the effects of active sky off, then I'm a little bit concerned it's going to end up screwing with that as well. So I will not be using the version 2 of AccuSim. I am quite happy with my Sims physics the way they are. So, that little rant and rabble has actually sold us our entire way down to the taxiway. So, we can arm the auto throttle now, and we'll also turn on the transponder. The landing lights can come off. The strobes can come on. We can ding the cabin a bit, and then we can stop on the taxiway. What is that all about? We can start making our way to get ready for takeoff. That is rather nice. This pub I want to go to. It's an actual little pub here, and it's right on the threshold of the holding point for 2-3. It's pretty cool. I mean, look at that. That is actually an impressive spot to watch some planes. So we can look out on the very gloomy skies and see the approach path is clear, and TCAS verifies that as well. So we can just bring in a little bit of power here to get around this corner. See the line there for some of the bigger aircraft. That lineup wasn't too bad. Okay, so 40% N1 to allow the engines to stabilise, which they are. So Toga, and 85.3% N1 power set. Keep it on the centre line would be nice. There's 80 knots. V1.
V1.
Rotate. Onto the flight director. Positive rate. Gear up. Look at that. FTX England, you go for it. Look at that. That is genuinely a beautiful view. That is so nice. Let's bring it down a little bit. Smooth it out, smooth out the climb a little bit. Beautifully trimmed. Absolutely trimmed to perfection there. Let's look on the right, the left wing. Very, very nice. So we can come back with flaps 2 here at this point, and I suppose we can watch them come in. Really nice. And we'll also take the autopilot as well. And we can also climb to 350 as there's no ATC on. There's climb power. And we'll just spam Alt Intervene 999 times in order to clear all the out restrictions. Auto brakes off, gear off. You can set the FMCs to progress. I forgot to start the clock again. What is the matter with me? So we'll fly this for a little bit. As we make this turn. That is so nice. I'm so looking forward to going down to the Balearic Islands. I really am looking forward, because it's photo-real scenery as well. So I'm really looking forward to when we actually get down there. A lot of turbulence going on. So I'm actually going to bring up flaps. Let's try to bring all the flaps up. Why is that? I want to keep flaps 1 out, thank you. Just for the minute. And yeah, we can bring all the flaps in now as well. Perfect, we'll sync up that heading as well. For when we make the turn, about 155 should do us. Lights can come off as well. We do not be needing them anymore. Ignition switches and everything else can stay as it is for now. Apart from the fact we can actually go standard pressure as we're climbing to a level. So, with a lovely 23 knot crosswind, that's not fun. Weather radar as well, we can whack that on. And turbulence. See if that pings anything back. Did a bit of weather dodging when I was flying this into Manchester last night. It appears to be clear, so we'll zoom that to like 20 and put that to the same. And here we go on like 2 hours 45. I think it's 2 hours 45. Oh, 2 hours 11. 2 hours 39 is a block time. But anyway, here we go to Palma De Mallorca. Okay, hello everybody. We are back on the descent into Palma de Mallorca. Just descending through flight level 138 now, down to 4,500 feet for the approach. We're on the Lores 1 Papa arrival today, runway 24 left. It's the ILS Zulu approach for that today. We've got everything set up and punched into the computers and relevant information, so we've got our ref speeds here, 145. We're using flap 30 today. So 145 flap 30 gives us a VREF of, an approach speed, a V approach, if you like, a VAP of, hang on, 150, hang on, plus 8, which is 153. That was really bad mathematics. 153 is what we'll be approaching at today. 8 knots direct headwind on the runway. So at least that makes, although strong, fair, well, it's not strong actually, it's 8 knots, but it's just easier to have it as a direct headwind. Auto brake 1, the way the runway is laid out, means that we can just roll down the entire runway. It's the exit points. The exit points are so close together that it really doesn't make any difference. So we'll use idle reverse or a form of reverse if my reverses actually deploy, because they didn't yesterday, which was a little bit weird when I was landing it into Manchester. But we'll use some form of reverse and auto brakes 1 as well. As you can see, it is a little bit stormy on the approach. I'm not really sure where that's come from, because according to Active Scott, in fact, thunderstorms. When I was flying a little while ago, it was not this. So this has come over. So in fact, the temperature's changed. It's all changed. So 33 degrees is what it is on the ground at the moment. The wind is 220 degrees at 9 knots. So we have got a little bit of a crosswind component now. Thunderstorms, but the pressure has remained the same at 1014. We're just slowing down to 250 knots now, which is being easier said than done with that 10 knot tailwind. Let's bring us in a little bit more. So we're just coming up on the Palenza VOR now, which is our transition to start the approach into Palma de Mallorca. I've decided to start this video, or start this segment of the video a little bit earlier than I usually would, just because I wanted to really showcase the whole scenery, because this photoreal scenery thing apparently is a thing. Although I'm worried that those textures are a little bit blurry, but apparently we've got all some nice photoreal textures of the surrounding islands and whatnot. Whoa! So that should be pretty good. 239 feet is the minimums for today. Passing 10,000 feet, we can whack all the lights on and switch the ignition switches to continuous. And we're actually going to tell the cabin crew to sit down now, because this is about to get rather interesting. So, I'm trying to think ahead of the game now, because now we've got these thunderstorms. It's making things a little bit harder. This is not what I was. This is completely out of the blue. I was not expecting any of this at all. I'm gonna take flaps 1 and slow us down a little bit early. And I'm also going to bring out the speed brake as well. Let's just bring the whole speed brake out. Seems to be a legit option at the moment. I'm thinking getting configured early is probably a good idea at this point in time. So this is the Palenza VOR now. There was meant to be some other aircraft due in just a few minutes ahead of me, but I would imagine they've probably landed. No, they haven't, but they are a few minutes in front of me, so we'll need to be keeping a lookout for them. I have no idea what their intentions are at all. We are rapidly losing this descent path. to a point where it's now saying it's unachievable, which is a problem. Which... Can we, like... I'm starting to think that putting out this flap may not have been such a good idea, to be perfectly honest. Okay, well, we're at 190 knots now, so now it can, in theory, drop the nose and start making some of this, back. I'm going to go into heading select, and I'm going to fly this a little bit differently. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come straight out from Palenza. I'm just going to, instead of making that right bank to Bavum, I'm going to come out and then join Bavum a little bit later, just to get, so we can gain some of that descent back. Then I'll turn it in, and Abumu is where the actual approach starts. So I'm going to come up with flaps 2, just because I can, and because it doesn't actually make all that much difference. Although, why is it pitching the nose up so high? Can we just... Why is it pitching the nose up so high? I don't understand this. Like, we've got a lot of room to make up here. In fact, we're making that up nicely, so I am going to turn back on LNAV path. As a matter of fact, I've inherently decided to do. And we'll continue up with flaps 5 now as well. I mean, fuck it now, look at this weather. Please. Just reset the sounds here. Right, so let's... Oh my god. I tell you what, that is a screenshot waiting to happen though. Wait, can we not clip the seat? Just bring it sort of up to there. That is a thumbnail in itself. Let's have a look at the scenery. That's quite nice, look at this. All these photoreal textures. It's a little bit blurry though. I don't really know what that's all about. I shouldn't be blurry because my settings are on max. Okay, so the ILS, we have the ILS. We're 24 miles. This is to go there, as usual, with all of my Boeing flights that I do. Although I haven't done one on here yet, so I don't know why I'm saying that. But what I do whenever I'm flying a Boeing and it gives me the option to put in the range rings, I do that at 4 miles, at 10 miles, and at 15 miles, unless otherwise. So if there's an approach that has specific needs to know distance and whatnot, then obviously I do it for that. But if not, then it's just the standard 4, 10 and 15 that I do. We're passing transition now, so 1014 we can go in, and I'm going to take an odd configuration of flaps 10, which I know is not usually a thing, but I just want that extra bit of stability to be there, so I'm going to take flap 10. We can continue down now to 2,500 feet, which is going to be the point at which we catch the approach, and the go around, in case we need to, is climbing on runway heading to 423. Then it's a left turn to the Palma Son Sant Joan VOR, max 185 knots, then following some radials to 3000 and contact ATC. We can arm the localizer because we should be intercepting that any moment now. Bring the speed boat back in as well, actually. Look at those mountains, and that is nice. Just reset sound. There we go. Sorry about that. Let's bring the other range marker in. I tell you what though, this weather is absolutely shocking. I get these storms on the ILS. Look at this. Wait for it to return. There's actually no avoiding these storms, is there? Because it's on the ILS. I mean, look. What? Nah. This is not acceptable. This is genuinely not acceptable. Okay, I'm bringing that in because I don't want to look at that. So there's the localizer. We can now whack on approach mode and wait for the glide path to come in. No gusts. Oh, actually, yeah. No, there's no gusts reported, but the wind is varying from 190 to 250. But it does appear to be a steady 9 knots. Okay, so the localizer's coming in now. We should have the glide slope rather shortly. We'll keep everything up for the minute in terms of the gear. And we'll keep flaps 10 as well. It seems to be a good way to go. So, we can sync up the heading button 239. Or actually, no, should we do runway heading? Which actually is 238, yeah, so whatever. 239. Whatevs. We shall do that. In fact, we'll set that to 238 because that is what the chart is telling me, so lol. It's a shame the weather is so bad because you can't actually see any of the scenery. And this is where it gets interesting. Let's put some wipers on. And we're just passing 13.5 odd miles. You can see the runway. So we can drop the gear and take flaps 15 as well. Because I have a distinct feeling this is going to be an approach you're going to want to be configured early. Okay, so we're going to take it all the way down to 153 now. Into vent. Honestly, what is this weather? There's 1,000 to level. And we can continue with flaps 5, sorry, flaps 25. 20, that doesn't even exist. And we can just take full flaps 30 now. Or our landing flaps, because it's not full flaps at all, our landing flaps. I'm going to leave the automatics in for the minute, just in case something goes terribly wrong, because I have this inherent fear that we're going to actually encounter wind shear. I've just had this feeling that what with thunderstorms and a variable wind, we're actually going to encounter wind shear here. There's the 2,500 feet call out. The pressure's still 1014. His scenery is so nice. Look at this. I mean, it's just the photo. I didn't realise that Palma de Mallorca really is quite barren. Like, there's just like pockets of civilization, and then there's nothing. It's quite a nice place. Okay, so we are single channel now, or so we have the glide slope. I am going to leave the automatics in. What we can do is arm the speed brake. This is one hell of an approach. I'm going to leave the automatics in for a minute because I really am not confident enough to hand fly this. However, we are not as stable as I would like to be. However, we have plenty of room as long as we get through this before the minimas and we are in a position where we can bleed off that speed. We shall be okay. There's 6.5 miles to run. 2 reds, 2 whites. Okay, we're coming through this nicely now. It's dipped us. Yeah, it's actually done quite good. It's dipped us below the glide a bit so it can bleed off this speed, which I don't think has worked in quite the way the aircraft had planned it to. See that varying wind on the ND there. This, I mean, look, look, if you look here, that thunderstorm is sitting right over the airfield. I'm actually going to go dual autopilot here. There is a land 3. Definitely feel that wind gusting. That road, cool is that? Honestly, this weather has taken me completely by surprise, but I think we'll have a crack at hand flying it. We'll take the auto throttle as well. Let's have a crack at hand flying this. So aircraft is mine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take it below the glide. Oh my god, we've got wind shear. It's asking us to monitor the... I've never had that call out. Continue. Dude, if I make this, I'm actually going to bench press my desk. 30, 20, 10. Oh, there it is! Oh my god! Full reverses. Six knots reverses out, manual braking. What on earth was that? Minus 616. Nah. Is the plane still, like... Is the plane still in one piece? Jesus Christ. I can't work out if that was wind shear or some kind of bug because the plane just stuck to the tarmac. Okay, we can take the landing lights off now. Taxi light on. APU on. That off. Oh my God almighty, that was absolutely horrific. Let's bring everything in. That is, let's just turn that off. I don't want to see that anymore. Oh mate, I'm almost gutted. Almost gutted because honestly, I was so looking forward to that approach, but that has turned out to be quite fun. That was a fun little bit of flying actually. It's always nice every so often to have a little bit of flying where you just land, and even though it's gone disastrously wrong, you just have a little bit of a smile. And that's exactly what has happened here. I have no idea where I'm going, by the way. I'm just finding a random stand. That was a lot of fun. I'm a little bit depressed that all of a sudden the plane just sank into the ground. I'm really not sure if that was the wind shear, because the wind shear just sort of happened at like 100 feet. I can't work out if that was a PMDG bug or if that was actually wind shear. However, it was better than Chewie's landing when he decided to continue on a wind shear and ended up flipping an A320. So I have that to be proud of. Alright, lights off. I forgot to turn the ignition switches off like a moron. There's no markings here. Oh, we'll just stop here. Okay, right, so we can take the APU as that appears to be available. And we can shut these engines down. Perfect, with 2 hours, 20 minutes on the clock. Pitos, that, APU bleed, and the anti-collision light. Come on, I'm going to put the logo light on. Well, okay, let's bring in the jetway, and let's request deboarding. Stand 5-6 this is apparently. This scenery is alright. It's not what I was expect. Oh my god! Look at the scenery over there. Rip. It's not quite what I was expecting, I'll be honest. But yeah. The textures are slightly more cartoony than I was expecting. But it's nice nonetheless. It was a fun... And look now the weather clears. Nice one. It was a fun flight nonetheless. So guys, thank you very, very much for watching today's video. It was a very fun video to make. I actually forgot to say, with all of that excitement, that those of you who are slightly more vigilant would have noticed that at the start of the video, when we were climbing out of Manchester, even when we were passing like 5k, I forgot to turn the packs back on after we started the engines, and I didn't notice until just after I'd ended the recording. I did a scan of the overhead panel. I was like, oh yeah, oh shit. So yeah, please no hate. Gregors, you know who you are. The guy that requested this video. Fuck you. No, I'm kidding. No, thanks very much for this video. It was a very fun video to make. I really enjoyed it, and that was one of the most fun approaches I've had in quite a while, actually. So thank you. But for now, that is it for today's video. I will be back with another video on Saturday. I have no idea what we're going to do, but hopefully it will actually be a decent landing this time. So from myself, from a very broken Golf Delta Foxtrot Romeo, from apparently a seaside sunny holiday resort, which I'm not convinced based on current weather conditions. Thank you very much for watching, and until Saturday's video, bye bye for now.